Now, Hans, what's our topic for Talk to the Hands this morning?
Yeah, today we're going to talk about defensiveness. It's the one reoccurring problem that I find when I do couple therapy.
Yep.
It's one thing that couples often bring up.
Yep. So defensiveness, what do you mean by that?
It's the way people react. So they hear someone criticise them and they get a very quick reaction and they get uptight and angry, and that often escalates into a bit of an argument between the couple.
Yeah.
So, for example, a wife might say to her husband, look, I wish you weren't so hard on our daughter Jemima. You know, can't you see that when you're angry that she gets upset? And then the husband might go, look, don't give me a hard time. You know, you also get upset with her. And that could be the powder keg for quite an argument. And so what happens is that there's already some tension. So one person picks up the tension and then they respond or react with their tension. That often doesn't work.
I'm wondering too, Hans, as you were sharing that example, often if there's been any other issues previous to that, there would be maybe a little bit more tension coming to that example, and possibly also maybe not so tidy wording, would you say?
True. So if the husband's done it 3 or 4 or 5 times,
yeah,
and the wife hasn't really picked him up on it, but this time she's upset and she's really letting him have it,
yeah,
then yeah, definitely. So here we get defensive. So the thing about defensiveness is that you hear yourself being the problem, and so you hear it as a personal attack. And when we are attacked personally, we will get defensive. So the way to get around that is, rather than hearing criticism as a personal attack, you need to focus on the issue. So the way to get around this situation would be the guy, if he can, remains calm and he hears that his wife has a problem with the way that he reacted to his daughter at that time. So it's not a global thing, I'm a lousy, uptight husband, but okay, so what we need to do, we need to talk about what happened in that incident. And so what you need to hear is that I'm not the problem, but there's a problem and we need to discuss the problem, which is the way that I respond, or with my daughter, which you don't like. Now that takes a fair bit of discipline actually, but if you can do it, you'll get respected. People who react and get emotional and defensive actually lose respect. I think most of us know what it's like to be in the company of somebody who's very quickly defensive. Everybody has to sort of somehow adjust to this person, being uptight and upset. Whereas the person who remains calm and hears that, okay, here's somebody saying something, I can either hear this as a personal attack and get defensive, or I can hear this person has an issue about the way that I responded in that moment. And if you can break it down to that, you can actually remain calm.
Now, we'll say it may not necessarily be quite as tidy wording. Say, for instance, if it is actually worded in such a way that it is actually a personal attack, still you're saying the best bet is to take the high road and to decide, okay, it may come across like it's a personal attack, but probably that's not where it started. And there's an issue here that we can focus on, and if we can focus on the issue and rather than me taking it personally,
yes,
then we can possibly work through this.
Yes. And if you focus on the issue and remain calm, you'll gain respect. And you can actually have a discussion around it. If you just break it down and you say, okay, let's talk about the problem that we've got here, about the way that I responded to my daughter at that time. And you need to decide that defensiveness never works. So that's your motivator. So in my relationship with my wife, I've tried it. It's not easy because there's a very quick body response. It's like defensiveness is like me throwing a ball at you. You'll put your arms up and catch it. So it's that quick, you see. So instead of doing the automatic response, you've actually got to need to do some self-talk and go, hang on, wait a sec. I'm defensive here. It's not going to work. We've got to focus on the problem. You need to take a deep breath, calm yourself if you can. But those who do that well, as I said, they'll gain respect you can keep things calmer. Like you can actually stop what could potentially be a situation where two people are going to have a fight, they're going to separate from each other, and then you've got to do a fair bit of repair work to fix that up again. But if you nip it in the bud, which is don't get defensive, it's amazing how the relationship changes. And as I said, you will gain respect if you remain calm.
So remain calm. But here's a question for you. Say, for instance, the approach was a little bit aggressive.
Yep.
Let me ask you, the best way to deal with it would be to focus on the issue first, and then follow it up with, hey, the way you mentioned that to me could have maybe been more constructive. Do you deal with that afterwards? Because
you could do that.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can actually appeal to the other person and say, look, the reason I got defensive was because I felt this as a personal attack. If you didn't do the personal attack thing, but you actually dealt with the problem, then the person is more inclined to hear you.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be reactive, then the process of discussing that's going to be a bit more complicated.
Yeah.
The best thing to do, if you can, is to remain calm.
Yeah.
Calmness creates safety. Calmness creates respect. Calmness creates opportunity for discussion. It's just a better way to be, actually.
Yeah.
If you can do it.
Well, and I'm sure it would help you live a longer life, probably too.
Less stressful
Yeah.
for you and for those around you. So that's always good, isn't it?
Oh, very good. Well, thanks so much for talking with us this morning, and we'll try and stay calm.
Good on you. Thank you.